Hey everybody, this is Larry Little and welcome to Crossing the Line, a podcast where we talk about not so much leadership, but we talk about leaders and we talk about relationships, and we are excited in this new season, this season 5, to really kind of take a different direction this year. And so I have with me our new co-host, Melissa Jackson. Welcome, Melissa. Thank you for being with us today.
All right, Larry, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to us talking about relationships today. To start off, we need to talk about a new relationship for you, that you have. I heard that you and your family have a new puppy.
We do. We have a new little puppy. Her name is Honey Bear.
Honey Bear. Tell us about Honey Bear.
And well, Honey Bear is a micro golden doodle. She's a little bitty thing. Weighs about 4.5 pounds. Last time we weighed her earlier this week. And really, if I'm honest about it, our family needs to thank your family because about a year ago now, is it? A little over a year?
Was it a year ago?
A year ago? You got a micro golden doodle. And her name is?
Her name is May May. And May May is such a great dog. We have allergies and all of these kinds of things, and we researched for a while. My camel husband did his research and his spreadsheets.
Yep.
And we finally got to the place where we got a golden doodle, and she's great. We love her. She's so much fun. She's added so much to our family. But Honey is just a little puppy.
She's a little baby. But I watched you guys and how much you enjoyed May May, and I watched May May kind of grow up, and I thought, Kelly did all your husband did. You did all that research. We shouldn't let all that go to waste. Why not?
No.
So we just copied you, and it's been so far. It's been you got to know who to follow and who not to follow.
Those
right?
Camels are great.
Oh man, so it's working, and she's a sweetie. She looks like a little she looks like a little teddy bear. That's the only way I know how to put it. Little white snout kind of thing going on, little white paw. She's a sweetie, and she's we knew that our family, we needed a laid back pup. We didn't we our children who are adults have pups who are not so laid back, and they're beautiful and wonderful, and we love them. We do. We get to keep them often. But we wanted something a little bit different, and you taught me about these golden doodles, and man, it's so far it's been a lot of fun.
So she's laid back. You think she's a turtle?
I do.
I think her personality.
I think she's a turtle. She's kind of she needs her time. She needs her turtle time. She'll even go. She's 10 weeks old, I think, maybe, and she'll go get in her little bed in her little crate by herself and just lay there and have some little turtle time.
Nice.
It's kind of crazy, yeah.
That's nice.
But she's a sweetie. She's a sweetie. So I want us to think about and get your wisdom on today, because I don't know if you knew this or not, but April 10th. Is National Siblings Day. And by the way, if you think about that, I think about our little pup, our little Honey Bear. She was she was like almost the last one to get picked out of the litter. But she grew up her first 9 weeks. She grew up with siblings all around her. So we worried about her coming be with us and being taken away from her siblings. But because my son and his girlfriend so graciously allowed us to, have their dog Lainey, who's a little snoodle. She's about a year old. Lainey has fulfilled that role of a sibling, and Honey Bear and Lainey just love to chase and run, so they're kind of like surrogate siblings,
Sweet.
I guess. Yeah.
That's
but
sweet.
National Siblings Day, April 10th. So I thought we'd talk today a little bit about not siblings as we were growing up, but maybe siblings as adults.
Okay.
Adult siblings. And here's why. Research shows us that 80% of adults, adult siblings, often provide each other with emotional support. 80%. I just want to stop right there a minute. Now, it says 80% provide emotional support during times of distress or anxiety or difficulty. Now, I got, Melissa, I'm just going to stop for a minute and get your opinion. What do you think about that?
80%.
Yeah, 80%.
Provide emotional support. Probably that probably is a good percentage and a good data point for a lot of people. I would say that's not the case for everyone, but hey, there are lots of opportunities to provide a lot in sibling relationships.
Okay, look, you're so nice. Here's what I'm saying. I don't know who did this research, but they're way off. I mean, I'm just going to call it. I mean, we've been working with people for years now, years and years, decades, and relationships, and 80% of adult siblings. That's a high number who really invest in their brothers and sisters, and now I have a sister. Mm-hmm. We're very close, so I'm not. I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think as a rule, it just seems high. What do you think?
I think it does seem high. I really do. I think that I don't know where that stat came from, but relationships as adult siblings and parents, having parents that are older, it's just an interesting dynamic, and everybody kind of plays a different part. And I really do think their personality plays into that dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
I have 3 older brothers, and so my dynamic is different from the next person. And when you add in the mixture of what's going on in their world and their own family, and then extended family and parents that are aging, and there's just a lot to navigate. Makes for and if we understand how to do that, maybe in some of our personality that we're going to talk about today, and understanding each other's personalities as adults, it can help the dynamic. But there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot. So while we're debunking percentages, here's another one. Okay, are you ready for this? Research says that around 25% of adults report having unresolved conflict with their sibling.
Just 25%.
Yeah, right. 25%. Once again,
those were the honest people.
I'm sorry. Once again, I'm calling foul. I'm throwing the flag. No, it's way higher than that.
Yeah,
it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they went to Mayberry and took this data. I don't know, but this is not. No, it's got to be higher, huh?
I would think so. I really do. And again, what we're going to talk about today, I think, is so important and helpful and useful to understand your siblings at a different place in life, a different season of life, and all of the stressors and work, children, personal life, schedule, all the things that come into play and that really heighten how you engage and interact. It's so important to understand personality and to be able to lean into that and to be able to use that. So as we talk about sibling, understanding siblings, and it's coming up here in April, let's take some time and let's dive into and understand siblings at a different level.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about your sister.
I want to tell you about her, and as we go through this, with the personality tie-in, I want to tell you some stories about how we kind of interact and how we caregive. We are in that phase of caregiving for our parents, and she is amazing. She doesn't. I don't know how she does all that she does. And,
she is amazing.
And she is amazing. And she takes care of our parents so well. We partner with that, but she does so much to be there. And it's just, it works beautifully. She and I are very close. I'll tell you this. She says that she believes, and she's, I think she's kind of serious about this. She thinks that she believes that God got us together and put me in her life so that I could keep her out of trouble. So that I could she says, God put you there for me. Yeah. I said, well, I'm glad to know my purpose in life. Now I have one. But you have some siblings, and you're kind of getting into that caregiving role as well, right?
Yeah. So I have 3 older brothers. My oldest brother's 8 years older than I. My next brother's 4 years older than I am. And then what I call my youngest older brother is 2 years older than I am. So, there's a step down there, stair step. And so I was the baby and have been the baby, but the girl. And so so that dynamic looks different as we care for my mom. And grew up in a household of lions, and they all are lions and something else. So we have a lot of action, take action, make things happen. And so so it looks, very, very hands-on, very action-oriented in our family unit, our extended family.
If we talk about that, we'll kind of jump over into, so how do these make a difference? How do these mad personalities play into adult sibling relationships? I will say this before we move on. One more stat. Just one more stat.
Oh, okay, give us another one. Yeah.
About 50% of siblings 47% said that communication was the biggest source of conflict between siblings about caregiving for their parents. I think that's pretty low too, because I think communication is the issue. And now there may be sometimes some that are just obstinate. They don't want to, because of past issues, they don't engage or whatever. But I think it's so important to communicate. So as we talk about these personalities, we'll talk about how communication works between siblings for these personalities and what that looks like. And then we'll go back and talk a little bit. I want to hear a little bit more about those brothers. You were raised in a house of brothers, and how that impacted you and their personalities and that kind of thing. Then I want to share a little bit about my sister. Her name's Kim, how we kind of have learned to do that relationship dance as brother and sister. To caregive for our parents who are now both 84. And I know you have an aging mom as well. So let's jump into that for a minute. If you think about the siblings and you think about personalities, let's start with a lion. Okay, we know that lion is that type A, get it done, can be dominant, can be very assertive to the point of aggressive, action oriented. What does that look like? And you had mentioned you grew up in a house of lions. So you grew up in a den of lions, right? What did that look like?
I think about my oldest brother, and he is a lion monkey, and probably pretty tight score, meaning that, he can shift in and out of both of those personality patterns pretty quickly. And so, thinking about who he is today, he still is that lion monkey. And so one minute, he can be joking and cutting up. Yeah. And then the next minute, something has happened and it's done. He's taken action. Mom has a lawnmower. It's at the door. It's being ordered and it's arriving. And, so he's quick. He's quick to move.
Could you tell the story about the piano?
The piano. Oh, my goodness, Larry. It's taking me back to childhood. So, sure, why not? So, quick story. This is my oldest brother who was acting as a lion. I did not grow up a lion, and so obviously I had to become one. I morphed into that, but I didn't grow up that way. And so I was a turtle. Probably this turtle monkey mix with a little tad bit of camel, but I waited forever to inherit a piano. I wanted to play the piano. I was little, and I got a little tiny piano, a little play piano, so big. And the day came where I inherited my grandmother's piano and enjoyed that, loved that. Years passed and we moved to a different location and a smaller location. And my brother helped us in that process. And as he does so well, he gets rid of things quickly. If you don't have a spot for something, it's gone. Ask his wife. So the day came where we were trying to figure out where to put this piano. Right. You're not supposed to put them in front of a window, but that was the spot that was left. And of course, I wanted that piano. I was a turtle, I didn't, know to say no or stand up to the lion. The next thing I know, the piano is gone. Forever gone.
He took it.
And
what-
he
got rid of
took
it.
my piano and probably left it by a dumpster somewhere. I'm
Oh.
not sure, but it was gone.
Oh.
The piano was gone. So
Perfect
thank
example
you
of a lion.
for
Perfect
bringing me
example.
back to that.
I'm here for you. I'm here
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you so much. But those lions, move. And often without conversation. You talk about communication. They're so action oriented that if they don't slow down, they're not inviting, conversation. They're not pulling people into the conversation. They may think no communication is no communication. They don't, nobody needs to talk. And so lions have to be careful with that. Because they'll move. They'll move quick.
They will. And if you have a sibling that's a lion, you have to understand that they use words to get the job accomplished.
Right,
so they're all about
right.
action, and you can't
Right.
you can't walk around with your feelings on your shoulders because they really don't care.
Right.
It's not that they don't love you. It's that they're action oriented and they're going to go get things done. So you got to realize that if you have a lion in your life, don't take things personally. Be very direct with them. If it's caregiving, if it's Christmas, if it's whatever,
right? Planning for the family.
Just know they're going to move fast. They're not going to care much about the details, and you have to learn to navigate that so that you can have a healthy relationship with a lion, which looks very different than having a healthy relationship with a monkey. If you have a sibling who's monkey, tell us a little bit about the monkey sibling.
So, the monkey wants conversation, and you need to have conversation with the monkey. You need to be able to allow them to express their opinion and talk about what they think about the situation and what they think about the other person and what's going on, the dynamic, which, means having kind of multiple conversations. It's not one conversation and done and move on. And so those monkeys, you need to be able to start the conversation. If the conversation's not taking place, they want it, they're probably going to be talking about things. And so, helping to steer the conversation and get it on a topic that you want to talk about and you need some resolution on is important. Helping that monkey also just listen to them because they want to talk. They want to express how they feel. And those things are important to help that relationship.
That's so right. And just for monkeys, they want to tell them you appreciate them. They love that affirmation. They need that. If you have a monkey, say, hey, I appreciate all you're doing. I appreciate our relationship. Appreciate what you're doing for mom and dad. Or appreciate what you're doing in your community, whatever. Find a way to connect. You connect through conversation. You connect through that affirmation. My sister, go back to her for a minute, she's a lion monkey, sometimes a monkey lion. So she's very extroverted, very action oriented, and caregiving for our parents. We came up with a system that allows her to kind of take care of the things in the moment that need happening, that need to do, and she's there checking on them and help. And I kind of step back and take care of those longer term things, the financial things, the insurance things, the caregiving, the caregivers kind of thing, and kind of help make those decisions. But it's all rooted because she is a monkey, and I know that it's all rooting in us talking and having conversation. And we have this deal that she calls me or I call her or something, because sometimes our elderly parents aren't the best at communicating. They're not. We're just not. They're not going to pick up the phone and call.
I've watched that too, and heard examples of how you guys have done that, and I think that's a testimony of both of you understanding personalities, understanding each other. Obviously, you got a lot of history together, but understanding who can play what role with where you are in the season of life that you're in, having that open conversation to define roles and tasks and things to do, and it works. It works well, and your parents benefit from it.
They do, and not the end goal to try to take care of them at this stage of life. But she's amazing. She can get so much done in such a short amount of time. But if we didn't have that communication, it might seem chaotic, or I might assume that she's doing something. She might assume I'm doing something. So go back to that stat around communication. It's so important. What about camels? What do you think a camel? Help us a little bit. The camel sibling. What does that look like?
Well, you probably have one, and that camel sibling needs to know the structure. They need to know what's coming. They need to be able to plan and prepare, whether it's holidays and extended family getting together, birthdays, things of that nature. They need to know what's going on. They need to be able to know in advance a few months in advance. That length of time really helps them be able to get their mind and their head around what they need to do, what they want to do, and make them feel like they're a part and that they can own part of the getting together and allow them to play a role in preparing and helping.
Yeah, that's so true. My wife is a camel, so it's been interesting for me to watch the dynamics between. She has a lion that's a sister who's a lion, and she's got another sister that's a monkey turtle. To watch those dynamics is exactly what you said. She needs some organization. She needs some process. She needs to know what's coming and gets frustrated when that lion, who by the way is a twin, but that lion moves so quickly without thinking about the ramifications sometimes of those actions, right? That lion can go get it done. But sometimes she feels like she's left picking up those pieces from that fast-moving lion, right? And so she has learned, and she is learning to navigate some of that. But for her, as a camel, organization, process, plan, and interestingly, for those camels, that is really enjoyable. They enjoy the planning of the event as much as the event itself.
And sometimes even more than the actual event that takes place. So, and every personality needs to feel like they have something to contribute. In a healthy family, extended family, everybody needs to feel like they're valued.
That's right.
They're all valued equally and that they have a role to play and they can contribute to the greater good of connecting.
You said it so well. Everybody has a role to play. So as we kind of turn the corner and look at wrapping this thing up around our siblings, let's talk about the turtle. Let's talk about the tranquil turtle in siblings. What do you see in a sibling who's a turtle?
Yes, and I can't even speak to this one because my brother that's 2 years older than me is a turtle lion. And so very strong on the turtle side. And that turtle needs processing time. He's the type that you need to have a conversation to prep him, to kind of point him, to get him thinking so that he can bring the best of himself forward, and have his part of how he contributes to the family. And turtles, they have such insight and wisdom. You really have to give them the space to be able to provide that. They also have a really tender heart underneath, the front appearance of who they are, and to really give them the opportunity to be able to demonstrate some of that tenderness and kindness in a family, I think is very valuable. But for him, it's important that the stage is kind of set for that. He's not gonna step out and do things. But if you communicate that he's needed and this is what you need for him to do, then it really helps him step up as a turtle and provide and support.
So I want you guys to think about this. Think about your life. Think about your siblings, and perhaps your siblings are a combination, like a monkey turtle or a lion monkey, and that's okay. But think about how they respond and react to you based on these personality types, and think about how you might adjust, how you might navigate differently to connect with them, to connect with our adult siblings. The word that comes to my mind, Melissa, is intentional. If we're not intentional about building those relationships, they're not going to happen.
Right.
So here's some handlebars for you, whether it's a lion, a monkey, a camel, or turtle. Here's just some ways that you can connect better. Obviously, if you want to know more, you can hit our website. Go over to eaglecenter4leadership.com. You can take the test and find out what happened. You can buy the book. It'll really help you to know and understand how to address your adult siblings and others in your life. So before we get to my favorite part of the podcast, I'm going to give you a chance to say a couple of words. So
as you're talking, I'm thinking, we have to choose. All these things are making choices to understand differences and allow for differences and allow your family to thrive in that. And commonality is just is a sweet spot, such a sweet spot. So we want you to choose to look at the personalities and understand yourself and others at a deeper level.
And speaking of sweet spot, here we go. Are you ready for the joke of the day?
Let's
I get to tell it. Robin's shaking her head, our producer. I get to tell the dad joke at the end of every podcast. That was our deal, right?
It was the deal.
And this is such a good one.
Let's hear it.
Okay, are you ready? Did you hear about the butcher who backed into the meat grinder? No?
I'm a little scared.
Well,
tell us, Monkey. What was it, Monkey? What happened?
He got a little behind in his work.
My head was going there.
Oh, man. Hey, thank you for joining us on this edition of Crossing the Line. I hope you found some nuggets of truth and things that could help you. Melissa, thank you so much for your wisdom and for laughing with me at my very bad but funny dad joke. We look forward to seeing you guys next time as we talk about relationships and how we can make a difference in the lives of those we love, live with, and lead.